Saying that he doesn't like to name call, but it still refers to David Duke as a bad person. Why not call him deplorable?
Well, you know, what he doesn't want to do is concede the argument, but here's what is happening is he's creating more of a story. What he should have said is that, of course, David Duke and what he represents and the things he believes are deplorable, but what Hillary Clinton has done is to say that half the Republican Party who's supporting Donald Trump is like David Duke. Now, he could have said that, and I think it would have been over with.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Dana Milbank, and I'm sure you've read it by now, David, he has this piece up, and in part it says, well, the headline, let me bring it over here, it says, yes, half of Trump supporters are racist, and it says, few people embrace the racist label, so let's help them. If you are very enthusiastic about a candidate who has based his campaign on scapegoating immigrants, Latinos, and African Americans, talked of banning Muslims from the country, hesitated to disavow the Ku Klux Klan, and employed anti-Semitic imagery, well, you might be a racist. David.
I mean that is a key issue. We do know from polling data that over half of Republicans believe that Barack Obama was not born here, so they accept what I would call the racist birther conspiracy theory that Donald Trump was the champion of. They also believe he's a secret Muslim, which also I think has racist connotations. They are, you know, people who are supporting Trump are supporting a guy who Speaker Ryan, the highest elected Republican in Washington, says has made racist remarks. So they're supporting someone who the Speaker says has made racist remarks. So at some point you can look at this and say, well, a lot of those people, if they're not racist, they don't mind hanging out with racists. And even the other day, Donald Trump Jr., making fun of the whole deplorable thing, tweeted out an image of him and others saying we're the deplorables. Who was in that image? Right. A white nationalist, one of the leaders of the alt-right movement. So there's a lot of hanging out with racists that goes on within the Trump campaign. Are half of all the supporters actually official racists and bigots? I don't know, but they are supporting a guy who's been called out by his own party.
Rick, you know, it was Friday. We have this video from Friday in Washington where the so-called alt-right press conference, literally white supremacist press conference in support of Donald Trump. Richard Spencer, president of the National Policy Institute, that's a white nationalist think tank. Jared Taylor, the editor of the white supremacist site American Renaissance. You have Steve Bannon running this campaign from Breitbart. These people are not just showing up for the coffee and donuts. So why is it so difficult to acknowledge that they have they've been attracted to the Trump-Pence ticket for some reason?
Well, look, no one wants to acknowledge the bad apples that are supporting your campaign, and certainly Hillary Clinton will have some bad apples that are supporting her campaign. I guess I'm asking for moderate Republicans. I don't expect the campaign to acknowledge this, but moderate Republicans like yourself, those who may be on the fence, who don't like the policies of Hillary Clinton, but certainly don't want to be lumped into this kind of group. Well, that's right. That's why it wasn't helpful. In fact, I said on this network several weeks ago that the danger that Hillary Clinton has is painting too broad a brush with the Republican Party, because there are a lot of Republicans who are on the fence and a lot of Republicans who may end up voting for Hillary Clinton. But when she says something like that, it makes it hard for her to do, which is why I suspect that she'll come back out again and try to clarify this remark. And the key is the half. The half is not clearly half of Donald Trump's supporters are not racist. If they are, this country's in a world of hurt. So, David, I am curious how much of this is real life and fake. And I ask this because Rick pointed out, in his opinion, half of Donald Trump supporters are not racist. So then I ask, are half of Americans lazy and looking for a handout? Here's what Donald Trump said June 15th, which you on Mother Jones exposed. Let's play what he said.
Right now, they have a disincentive. They have an incentive not to work. The problem we have right now, we have a society that sits back and says we don't have to do anything. And eventually, the 50% cannot carry, and it's unfair to them, but cannot carry the other 50%. So you become...
So there you have it. Yeah. He's talking about American voters. So when Donald Trump and his supporters get on stage and say Hillary Clinton has insulted his supporters, he's insulting half of the Americans as freeloaders.
Thank you for playing that, because, yes, that's exactly what he said in an interview in 2015. It was public, wasn't a secretly recorded video. I assume this is what he believes. He said half of America sits back and does nothing, and he said 50% have to carry the other 50%. So that, to me, is as deplorable a statement as anything that Hillary Clinton has said about a smaller number of people. Yet he's not getting a lot of attention for that within the media. But now you're doing that, Tamron. Maybe others will pick up too and start asking him, why is he knocking half of America as losers?
Yeah, so Rick, and by the way, that was 2016. That was this summer that this happened. So if Donald Trump is okay saying with 50% are carrying the others who they sit back and not going to do anything, they have no incentive to work. Where's that apology for insulting the American public out there who struggled, who parents, work their tails off to give their kids a fighting chance, and they may not live in the Trump Tower, but they are proud Americans who are working?
Well, here's the problem. I mean, when candidates are prone to hyperbole, which Donald Trump clearly is and hasn't apologized for it, and Hillary Clinton was there and she has apologized for it, then it makes it harder to make the underlying point. I don't think his point was a racist point. I think his point, and I know people who are not, I know people in my own family and friends who have been on food stamps, who have been on welfare.
I didn't say race. I didn't equate it to race. Actually, race didn't cross my mind. I was just talking about people who just working. I didn't think race.
No, but the problem, the underlying, what the underlying premise he's talking about is that there's a disincentive to work. In other words, you're better off not working than, because if you get a part-time job, then you lose your benefits and you'll be behind. And if you have
but half of America not doing anything.
Yeah, like
Rick,
I said, David. When the candidates are prone to hyperbole, they lose the greater point they're actually trying to make.
So is this a wash? Does this become now a wash? And I just quickly, and I'm out of time, they're getting on me, but does it become a wash? You can say, she said deplorable, he said half Americans. He's going on Dr. Oz to release his health, but he won't tell us or verify how much money he's given in charity. Forget the taxes, David. He won't provide charitable proof of charitable donations.
He's hiding so much, as he would say, so true how much he's hiding. So true, he's hiding much. And who knows what we'll get out of Dr. Oz. We won't get the tax returns. We won't get the charity
But the question is also, Rick, her campaign may have given him this opening to bring up these people on stage.
Well, and it also doesn't allow her to maintain the moral ground, which I think she had before this. And now, Pence is going out saying, our campaign doesn't call names. And that
well, listen, if we're going by the apology count, I mean, he's called on her to apologize for her comment. The apology count, if we're scoring, he would be on stage for a really long time.